Hi, my dear children. Good morning. How are you? I hope you are all fine. In our last history class, we had learned about the practice of democracy in China, Mexico, the importance of institutional revolutionary party in Mexico. Do you remember? Here in this class, we are going to learn the practice of democracy in Zimbabwe. Have you heard about Zimbabwe? It's one of the African country. The old name of Zimbabwe is South Rhodesia. Zimbabwe attained independence from white minority rule in 1980. Since then, the country has been ruled by ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF is the name of the political party. The leader of the political party was Robert Mugabe. Robert Mugabe was the president of Zimbabwe till 2019. He died last year. The new president is Emerson Mnangagwa. Elections have been held regularly in Zimbabwe, but always won by the same political party, ZANU-PF. Robert Mugabe was a very popular figure, but he had used unfair practices in election. Over the years, his government has changed the constitution several times to increase the powers of the president and make him less accountable. What about the opposition parties? Opposition party workers are harassed and their meetings disrupted. Public protests and demonstrations against the government are declared illegal. Nobody can criticize the president. There is a law that limits the right to criticize the president. Television and radio are controlled by the government and give only the ruling party's version. There are independent newspapers, but the government harasses those journalists who go against it, against the policy of the government. The government has ignored some court judgment that went against it and has pressurized judges. Children, what does the Zimbabwean example tell us? Popular government can be undemocratic. Popular leaders can be autocratic. The example of Zimbabwe shows that popular approval of the ruler is necessary in a democracy, but it is not sufficient. There should be sufficient room for normal political activity, including political opposition, in the period before elections. This requires that the state should respect some basic rights of the citizen. They should be free to think, to have opinion, to express these in public, to form associations, to protest and take other political actions. Everyone should be equal in the eyes of the law. These rights must be protected by an independent judiciary whose orders are obeyed by everyone. Do you think that a democratic government can do anything by saying that we were elected by the people? No. A democratic government cannot do whatever it likes simply because it has won an election. It has to respect some basic rules. In particular, it has to respect some guarantees to the minorities. Every major decision has to go through a series of consultations. Every office bearer has certain rights and responsibilities assigned by the Constitution and the law. Each of these is accountable not only to the people but also to other independent officials. From all these points, we go to our last feature of democracy. That is, a democratic government rules within limits set by constitutional law and citizens' rights. Though we say that democracy is the best form of government, the ideal form of government, we often hear certain arguments against democracy. Let us discuss those arguments. First one, leaders keep changing in democracy. This leads to instability. Democratic governments are not stable governments. Second one, democracy is all about political competition and power play. There is no scope for morality. Third one, so many people have to be consulted in a democracy that it leads to delay in taking decision. Next one, elected leaders do not know the best interest of the people. It leads to bad decisions. Democracy leads to corruption because it is based on electoral competition. Corruption, another argument. Ordinary people don't know what is good for them. They should not decide anything. Of course, clearly, democracy is not a magical solution for all the problems. It has not entered poverty in our country and in other parts of the world. Democracy, as a form of government, only ensure that people take their own decisions. This does not guarantee that their decision will be good. People can make mistakes. Involving the people in this decision does lead to delays in decision making. It is also true that democracy leads to frequent changes in leadership. Sometimes this can set back big decisions and affect the government's efficiency. These arguments show that democracy of the kind we see may not be the ideal form of government, but that is not a question we face in real life. The real question we face is different. Is democracy better than other form of government that are there for us to choose from? Hi dear children, shall we stop for the time being? Did you understand all these concepts? We had discussed about Zimbabwe and the different arguments against democracy. We have two questions here. One is, of course, it's about Zimbabwe. What did you understand from the practice of democracy in Zimbabwe? Try to find the answer in your own words. Second one is about the very important part, arguments against democracy. Read those points we discussed. Thank you.